Most people regret buying useless stuff on Amazon. Billionaires regret accidentally burning billions of dollars. If you think your impulse buy was bad, wait until you see what happens when the people with all the money make decisions with absolutely none of the logic. Let's start with Yahoo, a company that possessed the unique superpower of looking at future multi-trillion-dollar empires and saying, "Meh, we're good." In 1998, two guys named Larry and Sergey offered to sell their little search engine startup called Google to Yahoo for just $1 million. Yahoo said no. In 2002, Yahoo realized they might have messed up and tried to buy Google for $3 billion. Google wanted $5 billion. Yahoo's CEO declined. But wait, it gets better. Fast forward to 2008. Microsoft offers to buy Yahoo for a staggering $44.6 billion. Yahoo looks at this mountain of cash, scoffs, and says they're worth way more. So what was the grand finale for Yahoo after rejecting Microsoft's billions? In 2017, they sold their core internet business to Verizon for $4.48 trillion. That is roughly one-tenth of what Microsoft offered. They didn't just leave money on the table. They threw the table out the window and jumped out after it. Moving on to the year 2000, the dot-com bubble is at its absolute peak, and America Online, or AOL, the company that used to mail you free internet trial CDs every single day, decides to merge with traditional media giant Time Warner. It was hailed as the merger of the millennium. It was actually the financial equivalent of tying a rocket booster to a brick and aiming it at the floor. Just 2 years later, in 2002, reality hit hard. The internet bubble burst, AOL's dial-up business began its slow death crawl, and the combined company had to report a mind-numbing $99 billion write-down. That is $99 billion vanished into thin air. At the time, it was the largest corporate loss in human history. In 2013, Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer looked at the smartphone market dominated by Apple and Android and decided Microsoft needed a piece of the action. So he spent $7.2 billion to buy Nokia's phone business. He wanted to force the world to use the Windows Phone. The only problem? Nobody on Earth wanted a Windows Phone. How did that bold strategy pan out? Just 2 years later, in 2015, Microsoft's new CEO Satya Nadella had to completely write off the entire purchase. They took a $7.6 billion charge, which means they lost more money on the failure than they originally spent to buy it, while simultaneously laying off thousands of workers. Welcome to 2019, the era of WeWork. WeWork wasn't just a company that rented out shared office spaces with trendy lighting and free fruit water. According to its eccentric co-founder, Adam Neumann, WeWork was an ecosystem designed to elevate the world's consciousness. Private tech investors looked at this office subletting company and somehow valued it at $47 billion. Then WeWork filed its paperwork to go public, and Wall Street actually read it. They discovered chaotic corporate governance, bizarre financial metrics, and the fact that the company was losing billions of dollars at lightning speed. Within weeks, the IPO collapsed, Adam Neumann was forced out with a massive golden parachute, and the company's valuation went into an absolute vertical freefall. In April 2020, Hollywood mogul Jeffrey Katzenberg launched Quibi. The pitch? High-budget, Hollywood-quality shows broken into 10-minute quick bites meant to be watched exclusively on your phone while you were on the go. He raised a massive war chest of $1.75 billion from major studios. There were two slight flaws. First, Quibi launched during global pandemic lockdowns, meaning absolutely nobody was on the go. Second, the app blocked users from taking screenshots or sharing memes of the shows, killing any organic internet hype. 6 months later, having burned through over $1 billion, Quibi completely shut down. A literal financial speedrun. In 2022, Elon Musk decided to buy Twitter for $44 billion. Almost immediately, he realized he overpaid and spent months trying to legally back out of the deal. Twitter's board sued him to force him to buy it. Yes, they legally fought to force a man to hand them $44 billion for an app that rarely made a profit. Musk was forced to buy it, rebranded it to X, and proceeded to alienate major advertisers. Major mutual funds and investment banks that backed the deal quickly began cutting the value of their stakes. Fidelity repeatedly marked down its estimate of the company's value, eventually pegging it at a staggering 70 to 80% drop from the original purchase price. Finally, we have Mark Zuckerberg. In late 2021, he rebranded Facebook to Meta, announcing that the future of humanity was inside the metaverse. He task force ordered his hardware division, Reality Labs, to build this digital utopia. The problem? The public looked at the legless, cartoonish avatars and said, "We have video games from 2004 that look better than this." This virtual sandbox wasn't cheap. Reality Labs proceeded to rack up operating losses of over $13 billion in 2022, over $16 billion in 2023, and billions more quarter after quarter. That is tens of billions of real-world dollars spent building a digital world where nobody wanted to hang out. So, the next time you feel guilty about spending money on a subscription you don't use or a piece of junk you bought at 2 a.m., just breathe. You didn't buy Nokia's hardware division. You didn't lose $99 billion in a single merger. Turns out being a billionaire doesn't automatically unlock the good decisions DLC.